Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TwoSet Talks. This is actually episode 3. So wherever you guys are listening in, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hello everyone. And that's right. So what's today's topic again, Eddie?
Love. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
I mean, we were thinking about, so this topic came to mind because when we were touring, there were a few cities where we did a VIP meet and greet.
Yeah.
And there was a very funny incident that happened in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? So there was a very young couple sitting in the front, and we could see they both had violent cases, so we knew they were both violentists. And the young boy raised his hand. He was maybe 18, 19, and he goes, I have a question, but do the two of you ever, get really competitive?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And then I remember, Brett, you looked at him, you looked at his girlfriend, and you're just like, is this question about us or is it about you guys?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone laughed, and
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, it's about, and then he kind of like pointed at his girl.
Yeah.
And so it's a funny thing, the world of musicians and dating. And so we thought we'd kind of explore a little bit about it, how to navigate, not just dating, but I guess social life in general.
Yes.
How to navigate that in university, especially because I know a lot of we all just practice, so we don't have human interaction.
Ooh.
We're just practicing. When we interact, we're just rehearsing. But don't worry, TwoSet Talks, we got you. All right.
That's why you're here, to get dating advice.
Yes, we made all the mistakes so you don't have to.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, on that note, you shouldn't be dating because you should be practicing, right?
I mean, yeah, so that's the first step.
Yeah, first step, just practice. Actually, it's funny though. This sounds kind of cliche. It's like one of those like K-drama type scenarios, but it's not a how do you say it? It's not an understatement that if you're in a music uni and you're like really good at your instruments, people find you attractive.
Yeah, actually, so true.
It's true.
So for every musician out there, the whole point is just practice.
Yeah, legit. I mean, obviously it's not the only thing. You can't just be really good at your instrument and be a complete, dickhead,
Yeah.
because that's just like not cool. But you will get, I guess, that kind of the musician's version of street cred, when you're the violinist that's known for always winning the competitions and whatnot.
Street cred, yeah, exactly.
But that aside, though, I think it's funny because there's this kind of stereotype or image that musicians only date musicians. And it's kind of funny because it's true that a lot of musicians do date musicians, but I can tell you a lot of times this can become very disastrous down the line. And so the first example I can think of is dating. Okay, so I played in a professional orchestra, right? And the amount of in dating and in marriage and in family breeding
It's like incestuous.
that happened in that orchestra, I didn't know how they managed to go to work. All right, so there's one particular example, of course, again, not naming names, but I found out that there were two of them that they married, had kids, and then divorced, and then that one of them then married another person in the orchestra.
No way, that's...
And so can you imagine seeing
goodness.
the father of your kids and seeing him with this other girl now I mean,
Yeah, it's a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, you just don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
It's not like bad, to be fair, but it's just more like try not to get into that position because it doesn't help.
and in the classical music world, it's kind of small. Everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you do have to be careful. The second kind of incident that comes to mind is quartets.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a few very common examples where quartets consists of two pairs of, couples, maybe husband and wives. And yeah, I remember there was this one quartet where the two couples just would not talk to each other outside of rehearsal and performances, just never. And so, yeah, it's always kind of something to keep in mind when navigating this world. It's like, ultimately, we're all kind of humans, and there's going to be these emotions. And so if music's going to be your career, do you really want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, also, especially in music, I mean, speaking from my experience, so I guess it's with every kind of type of field or profession you go to. In the music world, there's generally a lot of ego involved.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be a little bit more careful of how you tread and things like that. And I get it because it's music and people are very attached to the type of music they make, they do. Let's say, this is my interpretation, how do you not like it? I'm a composer, this is my work, how do you not like it? It does get a little bit too personal, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's also just important to know that and then try to navigate around it, right? Do you remember our answer to the to that couple in the VIP meet and greet?
I do. I want to get to it later.
Okay, nice.
So because I think that is the kind of solution, if you will.
Yeah.
But well, just laying the groundwork for those of you that haven't, been in this world of music and dating yet. So on one hand, you have the stereotypical musical couple. And then on the other hand, now, you have the musician who dates someone that has no idea about the world of classical music, right? And so, this can have its own set of problems. So the first one being, we have our own kind of way of living that's quite different. And if someone from a completely different field comes into this life, they might not understand how it works, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there was this, I saw something a long time ago on TikTok or whatever, and they were like, are you going to choose between me or the instrument? Right? And I mean, it's a bit of a exaggeration, it was a skit, but I think a lot of people don't know just how much musicians have to practice.
Yeah.
And they might just feel like it's weird, it's like, oh, why can't we go on these dates and go out? It's like, no, I got to practice, right?
Yeah, because of course you have to choose the instrument. Are you joking? Or are you kidding?
Yeah. And so having someone that kind of doesn't understand and isn't able to really appreciate everything you do, be a significant partner, can be an issue as well.
Yeah, and also it's carving out the time to realize that musicians always need time to practice. Like we need just a few hours, especially in uni. It was like 4 or 5 hours. Probably 40 hours. Just leave us alone. Even during the breaks, we might come say hello, but don't roll us up. During break times, our mental rest time to get back into the practice room and summon some demons. That's what it feels like, especially when you're playing Paganini or something extremely difficult. Because when we're musicians practicing, a lot of frustration is you spend hours on something, sometimes you don't get it. Right? So, and it requires a lot of focus, in fact. Yeah. So that's one part, especially being a musician.
Yeah. So I think, given that, kind of going back to the idea of how to deal with competitiveness, right? I think the main issue with dating a musician, based off what I've heard, talking to different people, even soloists actually, I've heard this a lot, especially soloists, is the competitiveness and the insecurity. And so this is something that we've learned, is if you have to date another musician, it gets tricky because both of you take your success in the world of music so close to heart. And so when someone else starts to succeed better than you, you might start feeling feelings of envy. There might be jealousy. You might take it as a reflection of, why am I not moving forward in life? And this can become a really sensitive issue, and then let's say this person now that's doing a little bit better comes in, hears the other person practicing and goes, oh, I think your F sharp's a little bit sharp, or like I wouldn't recommend playing with that fingering. You're just asking for an explosion, right? And so I think the main thing is to realize, even with our friends, we've talked about this a little bit before, but when we kind of really started to get traction with TwoSet, a lot of the friends that stayed by our sides were actually our non-musical friends from high school.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? And funnily enough, a lot of our obviously not all, a lot of our uni friends are still close friends, but a lot of music friends kind of got a little bit weird when we started, getting more views, more subscribers, because I guess it's just like there's that kind of inherent competitiveness where they're like, oh, we both used to play in the same competition, but now how come this person is touring the world and I'm not, right? That type of feeling.
Definitely.
And so if you are to date a musician, I think this is the key. You have to find someone who is happy for your successes and do not see your success or growth as a threat. That's the biggest key.
Yeah.
And so we said this to the young couple there, is, especially in one of the closest relationships you have in your life, you need someone who's genuinely has your best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And for that to happen, if they're going to feel bad every time something good happens to you, it's like a conflict of interest, right?
Yeah. It's not good at all. And I also said it's so true that you have to find that person, and it's a strong reflection of the emotional maturity. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we've all felt this emotion, envy and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the whole point of it is actually, it's okay, it's there, but it's so important to practice wishing the best for someone else, right? And once you realize that wishing the best for someone else and seeing them succeed is something that's going to be also beneficial to you, and also for everyone else as a relationship, you'll start seeing your past self and wondering, why was I doing that? Mm-hmm. Why was I trying to take someone down that's supposedly a friend? Because good luck, you just cut off ties with someone that could be helping you in the future, that could be helping you lift you up.
That's the best case scenario, which is you just cut off ties. The worst case scenario is that person gets guilt tripped and then they stop growing because they don't want to lose you, and you just kill someone's flame.
Yes, like this has happened so much. I've seen it so much. So many people with potential and talent. Yeah. Someone's just like this flame, you say, this kind of just this energy, that passion they have has been killed because of envy. And people usually are envious, start this whole guilt tripping game. And you essentially just ruined their own future indirectly without knowing it. I mean, you bring them down by playing all these manipulative game. And it's such a shame.
It's subconscious too, because I don't think people that feel envy are doing it necessarily consciously.
Yeah.
They feel this uncomfortable feeling inside. It's like a ball of emotion, and then they can't help but slip a little passive aggressive remark. Like, I always make this example. This guy I thought was one of my best friends. When we started kind of blowing up with TwoSet, every time we saw each other, he'd be like, oh, hey, TwoSet.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck? My name is Eddie, bro. Like,
literally feels
we
like
hung out so much. Why are you calling me TwoSet?
Yeah, it's like a freaking movie sitcom or something. Yeah. Like, it's like, really? You just call me that?
It was
like,
so cringe.
But it's true. And in fact, if you're listening to this and you have some form of success, it's almost a good way to weed out kind of who actually truly your friends, because it's a reflection of the other person's emotional insecurity. And it's good practice for you as well.
Yeah.
And now, flip side, if you are the person that does feel envious, it's okay. Don't act on it, because you're also shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. I would say practice. Okay, so more practical advice in a relationship. Practice feeling genuine joy for someone else on their behalf.
It's the best thing ever.
It's a good
because imagine this. imagine your family member or brother or sister, someone close to you, achieve something incredible. You're going to be happy for them. You're not going to be like, oh, my mother finally won a Grammy Award. Screw her. How dare she not be a mother like everyone else?
Yeah.
Why is she winning a Grammy Award? Like,
Yeah.
this sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you should be...
But yet we do it to our intimate partners.
Yeah, we do it to intimate partners. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
I
So
agree.
I just realized I feel it too, to be honest. That's why I can kind of understand it. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's definitely unconscious. And like you said, the scariest part is when people unconsciously do it. It's almost like they're consumed by this
Feeling, right?
feeling called envy.
Yeah.
And they start acting in this way, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, in Australia they call it tall poppy syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
They even have a term for it. It's like the poppy that grows above gets cut, right? And yeah, in some cultures it's more prominent. It's tricky, and often these are the people that will lift you up the most when you're down.
Yeah.
Because they almost enjoy you being down. It's tricky to differentiate. Some people are there for you no matter what, but other people will be there for you while you're down. But once you're on the up, suddenly it changes, right?
It's kind of freaky.
Now, I will say, on the flip side, knowing that we're all humans and we all feel some type of envy, right? Again, comparison is a thief of joy. Remember that.
Yeah.
But if you're the person that's doing better in the relationship, don't rub it in the other person's face.
Yeah, just
Like,
do them a favor and do yourself a favor.
be humble. Just don't go around being like, yeah, I just want Queen Elizabeth. Your intonation is wrong. You should play like no. And if the other person's practicing, unless they come to you for specific advice, do not give unwarranted, unsolicited advice.
And if you're really careful and you want to give them advice, ask them first.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I was listening to your plan. It was great. If you ever need some tips or hands, I'm happy to. If you not even that, tips is too much. It's too much. I already stepped on someone's ego. If you ever need a extra pair of ears, I'm here and I'm all yours. If you want feedback, I can help you listen. That's the first step. Don't even say anything. And then eventually, once they feel comfortable and safe, so to speak, like their ego feels safe, then they'll reach out to you. Then you can give them feedback. It's like you walking into a lesson, you're getting ready to get roasted. But you also know you're going to lesson because it makes you better.
Yes.
So it's weird how that happens, right? It's like contextually, you can walk into a lesson and teacher says like, this is out of tune, you're fine. But when it's out of it, you're kind of just...
Well, it makes sense though, right? Because there's the message and there's the messenger.
Yeah.
And sometimes the message might be the same, but we all just resonate to a different messenger. It's
exactly.
like...
It's true, yeah.
I'm just going to keep it anonymous because I don't know if this person wants us to share this story, but a close musical friend of ours, her mother is a pianist, and she's a pianist. And her mother's a great pianist, but they jokingly said like, did you teach her? And she's like, no, I had to find another pianist because even though I would say all the same things, she just wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah, it's so true.
Right? As a mom, right? I get it.
It's
like the kids aren't going to want to listen to their mom, but they'll listen to another teacher, right?
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to understand, like, are you in a relationship or are you in some kind of a musical? Like, what are your role? Like, what are you in this relationship for?
Yeah.
And if you're not the teacher, maybe you should just shut up and not
Don't be the teacher. Just be the partner.
Yeah.
And support them if they need to. Yeah. So I think, that was like good stuff. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's so true, right? Like, you have to play your role in a way and understand how the relationship actually works, and don't step on the wrong feet. And then another thing is like envy. Don't let it consume you. And we've seen it, and it happened to us so many times. Not even just from our friends, it's from like people outside. Like it goes ballistics, and it's kind of weird. But I get it though. It's like those people. I mean, I went through the same phase. Like, you have to practice not being so emotionally immature and wish the best for other people. And it's a very hard thing to do. But in fact, but once you get it, it's actually a very easy thing to do, right? Now I'm in a stage in my life where sometimes I feel like, let's say a friend does something successful. I think I feel envious, but at the same time, my gratitude and happiness for him outweighs that so much more. And I'm just kind of like, dude, that is so epic. I can't believe that just happened for you.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Then being like, screw you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Why are you doing that? Why are you getting so good?
Yeah.
By you getting good it's a reflection of how terrible and lazy I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that way, right? And you don't really feel envious to someone that feels so far from you, right? It's like if I see an NBA giant tall basketball player succeed, it doesn't reflect on me as easily because there's not much commonalities.
Yeah.
But if another Asian guy, exact same age as me, also plays the violin, but is playing so much better, that's gonna make me feel, well, what's wrong with me, right?
Yeah.
And so you can see why with two musicians in the same field, you have to be particularly secure in yourself.
Yeah.
And so I guess to kind of wrap this episode up, because we're not going to go too long for this episode, my suggestion would be, in any relationship, keep the envy in check, understand your roles and your boundaries, and that actually should apply. Then it shouldn't really even matter if you're two musicians or not musicians.
Makes sense.
It's just typically, because music is so easy, it's easier for that catalyst to combust, which is why dating a non-musician might just be the easier option sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, I would say the plus side of both people doing music is there can be situations where you're both in music together and you're both kind of helping each other towards your goals. And that could be like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
But again, the dynamic has to be one where it's like you're a team.
Yeah.
The moment it's like you two are competing against each other, it's like, game over.
Exactly. Yes. Like you said, if you guys are actually helping each other, the improvement will be exponential. Because you have a constant pair of ears just there for you.
Yes.
To listen out for you. Like just imagine the amount of feedback you can get at such a rapid rate. You don't have to wait for your teacher once every week. There's someone there 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine that it's going to be annoying, but at least that's definitely the other side of the coin. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
So, hey, can you just check this phrase? And it's a performance opportunity too. Like, you can play for them.
Yeah. So good.
It's so good. Like, it's so good. You can play for someone.
You can make chamber music together.
Yeah. And so much. And your ears get better. You understand how to play with someone else. Ensemble skills get better as well. There's a lot of benefits, but really, I guess the enemy to all that is envy.
Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah. So that's kind of our take on music, relationship, not even relationships, friendships, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like in our experience. But you just got to be a team.
Yeah.
If you're a team, it's always, I like the saying, it's always us against the problem.
Yes.
It's never us against each other to see who's right.
Yeah.
The moment you're in that dynamic, it's the worst.
Oh, that's deep. I think that's us against the problem. But there's no one to hate. It's the problem.
Just solve the problem. You don't need to have a right or wrong, right?
Yeah,
just solve
it's
the
just
problem.
the problem. Don't put it on someone else.
Yeah.
But that's such a weird glitch in our
Human psychology.
Right? It's so
No.
weird. It's like, it's such an easy statement. We all get it. Just solve the problem. But we can't help ourselves to try and blame it on someone else.
Put it on someone else, right?
Yes. Especially doing it there when you're just, it's like unconscious.
Well, I guess it's because when you put it on someone else, it's easier because it absolves you of your responsibility in solving the problem.
Yes. It's like, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's you.
Yes.
And he blames someone else.
Whereas if you had to solve the problem, you actually have to use your brain. You have to
Yes.
think, how do we fix this? And
Yes.
that takes effort. And this generation, people don't have attention spans because they're all watching TikTok. So if you made it this far in this podcast, you're one of the chosen few. You're going to go far.
Yes, I get motivation. So, congratulations, you
We're
made
proud
it
of
far.
you.
Welcome to the next game and level.
Yes, Ling Ling will be proud of you.
Yeah.
All right, that's about it for today. Any closing thoughts, Brett?
No, keep practicing. Go practice. Getting rid of envy, and go practice.
Yes, practice celebrating someone else's success.
That's a really good one. Try for this week. Just look around. Someone close to you, they succeed. Congratulate them. Honestly, it doesn't happen straight away. You just have to practice it and just do that. It will change your life over the course of the next few months.
Yeah.
Nice. And that's it for today. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.
Bye.